Here's your quick recap for Big Brother 21. As always, not everything from this season made the cut for this video, so direct all your hate to the comment section or at my Twitter, @SpicyBarrett. Big Brother 21 premiered on June 25th, 2019, where 16 house guests embarked on a journey to win $500,000. Among them were a watermelon-loving mama's boy, a preschool teacher, a Broadway dancer, Wyoming, a waterman, a truck driver, somehow a child's therapist, Annalise, and a fan of the show. The Houseguests enter and we find out that two pairs of people know each other outside of the house, Broadway dancer Tommy and Christie, as well as former pageant peoples Kathryn and Holly, so that's fun. Julie welcomes them to a twist called Camp BB, and they're immediately told to elect a camp director who will receive an unprecedented power. People start campaigning for the camp director spot and ultimately they pick Jackson Michie. The unprecedented power he receives is to banish 4 house guests, where they will battle and one of them will leave the game immediately. He chooses Cliff, Kemi, Jessica, and David. The 4 then compete in a banishment comp where David's game is done. For now. Meanwhile, Jack, Nick, and Jackson, also known as Michie, create an 8-person alliance with Isabella, Christie, Holly, Annalise, and Tommy. The first HOH competition takes place and Christie comes out victorious and nominates Cliff and Kathryn, but they quickly become suspicious of Kemi. Sam, the truck driver, wins the veto and he had already promised Cliff he'd use the veto on him. Jack and Jackson really want Kemi out, but Christie's like, I don't want to do just whatever these 2 dudes want to do on my HOH, so I'm just going to put up Ovi, the nicest guy in the house. Ovi's got Nicole and Cliff on his side, but literally nobody else, so they send him out. So they think. Julie's like, sit your ass back down, everyone. She explains that Camp Comeback is starting, which means that the first 4 evicted house guests will stay in the house but won't compete. At the end, those 4 will compete in a competition to get back in the game. So David comes back to live with everyone, Jack wins the next OH, so the 8-person alliance is back in power. Jessica, Nicole, Isabella, and Kemi form the Black Widow Alliance, and immediately Bella goes and tells Jack about it. Jack then nominates Kemi and Jessica. Sam wins the veto again, and Kemi knows she's screwed because Jack and Jackson hate her for some reason. Sam doesn't use the veto, and Kemi gets sent to Camp Comeback on a vote of 10-1. Cliff is an idiot and decides to talk to the live feeders about every strategic thought he's ever had, including his alliance with Ovi and Nicole, while the whole time Christie listens outside the door. Nick wins HOH, so the 8 are in power yet again. They think that Nicole was the one vote to not evict Kemi, so they're suspicious, but in fact it was Michie who casted the vote, just trying to stir the pot. The 8 start to feel that Nick and Bella are playing both sides of the house, so the others in the house start trying to convince Nick to take shots at the other 6 in the alliance. Instead, Nick wants to prove his loyalty and nominates Cliff and Jessica. The 8 featuring Sam are seeing the cracks in their alliance, so they start airing out what they've heard others have been doing behind their back, especially in regards to Nick and Bella. Nicole was the one who received and shared most of the info, but to save their own asses, they act like all of it was untrue and just Nicole trying to tear them apart. In a riot led by Bella, they kick Nicole out of the HOH room and talk shit about her for a while, and this pisses everyone else off. Kathryn wins the next veto and uses it on Jess, and Nicole goes up in her place. Jackson, Michie, Christie, Jack, Annalise, Tommy, and Holly decide that they're done with Nick and Bella and form their own 6-person alliance called 6 Shooters. They know Nicole will go after Nick and Bella too, so they decide to blindside Nick and Bella and get rid of Cliff. The 4 members of Camp Comeback compete, and Cliff kicks their ass and comes back in the game. Cliff then immediately wins HOH, and Cliff's ready to flip the game upside down, so he nominates Jack and Jackson Michie for eviction. However, Michie wins the power of veto. Christie tells Cliff he'll be safe for 2 weeks if he nominates Bella. Cliff much likey that and puts Bella up. Bella's sent out of the house 8-2. Holly wins the next HOH, putting the 6 shooters in power. She nominates Sam and Nick. Nick is the target, but he wins the veto, so that plan is botched. Nick takes himself off the block, and Holly puts up Kathryn in his place. Shit hits the fan before the vote when Michie tells Jack that Kat and Holly know each other outside of the house, so they need to get out that secret duo instead of Sam. Tommy, Christie, and Jack secretly think that Michie also knows Kat and Holly outside of the house, so they should be suspicious of him. Everyone in the 6 besides Holly gets on board to get rid of Kat, but Holly finds out about the plan and says that none of them know each other. Everyone decides to yell for a while, and Kat further defends her not knowing either Michie or Holly outside of the house, which is half true. Christie decides that Kat should stay because she hates Jackson now and they could use her to go after him, so they send Sam out unanimously. Jessica wins the next HOH and decides to shake things up, so she puts up Jackson, Michie, and Jack. Jessica then also wins the power of veto and doesn't use it, leaving Jack and Jackson up. Since Jackson Michie was outcasted from his alliance the previous week, Jack is seen as the bigger alpha male threat and gets evicted, and Tommy becomes the new HOH. America voted to send 3 house guests into a special competition where the winner is safe for the week and the loser is put on the nomination block. America chose Jackson, Annalise, and Christie. Jackson comes in first and is safe for the week while Christie loses and gets put on the block on her best friend Tommy's HOH. Tommy nominates Cliff and Kathryn alongside Christie. Tommy wins the veto competition and uses it on Christie. Nick wants to make a new group to take down Michie and Holly, so himself, Cliff, Christie, Tommy, and Nicole and Annalise get Kat evicted. Jackson wins the next HOH and the former members of the 6 shooters are terrified. Michie nominates Annalise and Christie for eviction. Jackson wins the veto as well and elects not to use it. Christie wants to let Michie know she's not going after him, she's actually going after Nick. And Nick isn't a fan of this and voices his thoughts to Christie in the kitchen. Everyone now thinks it'd be smarter for Annalise to go since Christie will always have a target on her back, so Annalise gets evicted and Holly wins HOH. Nick and Christie are then nominated for eviction. Jackson yet again wins veto and doesn't use it. Nick thought he had Tommy's vote, but Tommy won't send his aunt's ex-lover out of the house. Nick goes out 5-0 and Jackson yet again wins HOH. Jackson and Holly decide to make a Final Four deal with Nicole and Cliff, then Christie and Jessica are nominated for eviction. Jackson and Holly have some relationship troubles, and Tommy wins the veto, where he takes Christie off and seals Jessica's fate. But it's double eviction night, baby. They immediately go to play the HOH where Nicole wins her first competition. She nominates Christie and Tommy. Cliff then wins the veto and elects not to use it, and Christie is evicted 3-0. Jackson wins HOH again and makes Tommy his target and nominates Cliff alongside him. Nicole wins the veto comp and takes Cliff off, forcing Jackson to nominate Holly. Nicole wants to take this chance to get rid of Holly, but Cliff doesn't really want to. Jackson is worried Cliff and Nicole are going to flip their vote. He overhears Tommy promising Cliff and Nicole he'll take them to Final 3, and then lies by claiming Tommy told him the exact same thing. Tommy tries to disprove Jackson, but this seals Cliff's decision, so him and Nicole vote out Tommy. Holly promised Nicole that she'd throw HOH to her if she evicted Tommy, so Nicole easily becomes HOH and nominates Holly and Jackson. Jackson, also known as Michie, wins the veto again and becomes the sole vote of the week. He takes himself off the block and evicts Cliff, forming the Final 3. Part 1 of the final HOH goes convincingly to Jackson. Nicole and Holly compete in Part 2 of the final HOH where Holly wins, putting herself and Michie essentially in the Final 2. Nonetheless, Michie wins the final HOH and evicts Nicole. The jury returned to cast their votes on who they think should win BB21. Jackson gets grilled by both the jury and the pre-jury about certain comments he'd made in the house, which puts quite a damper on his spirits. Nonetheless, the jury elects Jackson, also known as Michie, as the winner of Big Brother 21, where he stumbles out to the saddest response to confetti I've ever seen. Well, that's it for the recap. If you've seen the season in full, you know there's plenty of stuff that definitely didn't make the cut, but I'm trying to keep these recaps as much to gameplay as possible. If you enjoyed the video, we'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out our tiers on Patreon. Also comment any future recaps you'd want to see on the channel. Thanks again, guys. Peace out.